there friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video, I'm going to be going through all of my sinking funds. We're going to be counting everything up to figure out what we have in all of our sinking funds to get a starting balance for August. And we're actually also going to write in any transactions that happened since my mid-month check-in. So let's just go ahead and get started. This video might get a little bit long, so I'm just going to zoom you guys in a little bit. That's out. There we go. We're going to put our numbers here right underneath our mid-month check-in. So I did this check-in earlier in the month. If you missed that, you can check that video out. I'll link it in a card above to just get a feel for, you know, our spending for the month so far and where our sinking funds were at. And now we are going to kind of wrap it up and do the end of the month check-in. So I'm just going to really quickly write each of the names of the funds down here. So we have multiple sinking funds. I believe we're at 11 right now. So we're going to do camping, car, celebrations, clothing, home, medical, pets, school, spending, subscriptions, and lastly we have YouTube. So those are all of our categories currently. We're actually going to be splitting some things up and renaming some things for August. So at the end of this video I'll be setting up my August sinking funds log, and you guys will see what I do there. But for now we're just going to keep the names all the same to get a feel for how much we have going on in each fund. So I have this little sticker. This is actually a payment tracker from Jennifer Ann Plans. I didn't use it for July, but I'm just going to steal this totals sticker here and stick it along the bottom so that we can fill in our totals as well. So, oops, let go. There we go. So I'm just going to stick this down. Am I in frame? Yes. Good, good, good. So this was our mid-month check-in, and this will be our month-end check-in. So I'm just going to write that in here. So the beginning balances that I'm going to use are the ending balances from our mid-month check-in. So starting out with camping, our beginning balance is going to be $972. I'm just going to go into my accordion folder here where I keep all of my sinking funds. And once again, I just did this in another video. This is my son's sinking fund envelope. We have the same one. So as soon as I'm done filming this, I'm going to go in and make labels for these. So I stopped grabbing the wrong one. I'm making a fool of myself in my videos here. So I keep all of the sinking funds in this little accordion file. I absolutely love it. It fits everything perfectly. And we're going to start out with our camping fund. So when we checked in at the mid-month mark, we had $972, it says. So that was right here we checked in. So since then we've made some deposits and we made a withdrawal. So whenever I see a withdrawal on my card here, I write it in on my little transaction log. I like to just keep track of all the money that we spend from all of our categories, just so that I can see at a glance where the money's going. So really quickly I'll write that in. So the fund is camping, and on 7/24 we spent $25, and I happen to know that that was for ice and camping supplies. So I'm just going to write that in. I didn't write that on my little card, but I happen to remember, so I'm just going to write that in. So that takes care of that transaction. So since we checked in on 9/27, we made two $50 deposits and one $25 withdrawal. So under this plus sign, I'm just going to write that we added $100. And then under the subtraction sign, we took away $25. Then I'm just going to pull in my calculator here. So 972 plus 100, sorry about that, minus 25 should mean that we have $1,047 in this account. And that's what my card says. I'm just going to count this up and make sure that it is what I have. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 850, 900, 950, 1000, 20, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. So I do indeed have $1,047 in my camping fund. So we are good to go there. Next fund I have is my car fund. And when I checked in last time, my car fund had $617 in it. So that's what we are going to use as our starting balance, which you can see right here, $617. Since then, we've made a couple of deposits and we did make a withdrawal. So again, I'm going to flip over to my transaction log here. The fund is car. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. The date was the 25th of July. We withdrew $70 from our car fund, and that was for motorcycle. I just wrote on my card, motorcycle stuff. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and write here as well. You may be wondering, why am I writing everything down twice? Like, I write it here in my card and then I write it here in my planner as well. And that is because this card here, when it gets full, I just go ahead and toss. I just recycle it, shred it, whatever. So I don't have long-term records of the spending if I just use the index cards. So the index cards are really handy for keeping track of everything kind of on the fly as I go. But then I like to keep long-term records of where the money is going. So that's why I do it here in my planner as well. Hopefully that makes sense. So that takes care of car for our transactions. Moving back to our sinking funds page here. So we had $617. We made a couple of deposits, so a $10 deposit and a $13 deposit, so that's $23 that we added and $70 that we took away. So my calculator says 617 plus 23 minus 70 is 570. That does reflect what the card says, so that's good news. As long as we have that amount here in my fund, we're good to go. So let's just count it up. 100, 50, 200, 50, 300, 50, 400, 50, 500, 50, 60, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. So that's all good to go. And we're all set and ready for next, which is our celebrations fund. So this is one of these that I'm going to be separating out for August. So when I get to setting up my August sinking fund transaction tracker thing spread, there we go. I will be separating this out, but for now it's all just one fund. We're going to close it out that way. So celebrations, according to my card here, has $800. When we checked in mid-month, it had $740. So $740 is our starting balance. which is right here. So since then we have made 2 deposits, no withdrawals, so I don't need to add anything to my transaction log, but we have added $60. So plus 60 minus 0, we know without having to pull in my calculator that that's 800 bucks. Even I can do that mental math, so let's just count it now. 100, 200, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, 770, 790, 800. So $800 in our celebrations. Stick that back in there. Next up we have clothing. So when we checked in mid-month, my clothing fund had $110 in it as its ending balance, so that is our starting balance for our end of the month check-in here. $110. According to my card here, we spent $110 and then we deposited 50 and then we deposited 10 more for a total of 60. So we added $60. We subtracted 110, which of course brings us to a balance of $60 in that fund, and that is indeed what we have here. So really quickly, I just need to write in my transaction log here. So the fund is clothing, and on the 20th of July we spent $110, and that was shoes for my husband and I. We both needed new sneakers, so that takes care of that transaction. Everything is good to go here. We do indeed have the $60, so that's all set. Now we're going to move on to home. So when we checked in mid-month, our home fund had $100 in it. Which you can see reflected right here on my card. Since then, we have made a couple of deposits, so $20 on the 21st and $10 on the 27th. So that's a total of $30 added. And we spent $40, and of course I didn't write in what we spent that $40 on. I guess just home stuff. I need to get better about noting that, but $40 went away. So that means then, oops, that we had 100 plus 30 minus 40 should leave us with $90 in this account. That is what my card says. 50, 60, 70, 80, $90. That is what I have here. So I'm just going to flip and write the transaction in then. Oh, focus camera, there we go. So the fund is home. The date was 7/24. I know, you guys, that the dates are all discombobulated and out of order. That doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, I'm so sorry. It's just how I do it. This is what works for me. So on the 24th, I spent $40, I guess, on home stuff. I'm just going to write in home stuff because I don't remember. All right. So that takes care of home. Everything's all set and situated there. Next up, we have medical. So for medical, when we checked in last, our medical fund had $45, which you can see here on my card. Since then, we've deposited $20. We have not taken anything away. So 45 plus 20 is 65. That's what my card says. And that is what I have here, 50, 60, 65. So that takes care of medical. Next up, I have pets. So we have not made any withdrawals from this, so I don't have to write in any transactions. When I checked in last, we had $35 in there. So our starting balance is going to be $35. Since then, we have deposited $20, and we have not taken anything away. That's going to bring us up to a total of $55. You guys, I just realized that this totals bar does not have spaces here for writing in the totals, so that's fine. I'm just going to make it work. I wasn't paying close enough attention when I chose that sticker. So $55 is what we're looking for here. 20, 30, 40, 50, 55. So that's good to go. Next up, we have school. And when we last checked in for school, our fund had $65, as you can see right here. So the starting balance is $65. Since then, we have made a couple of deposits, but no withdrawals. So we deposited $20 on the 21st and $15 on the 27th for a total of $35 additional. 65 plus 35 we know is $100. 50, 70, 80, 90, 95, $100. So sorry about that, you guys. My camera battery just died on me. I was talking about our school sinking fund and just writing in that we had $100 currently in that fund. I went ahead and put that back behind the tab here, and now we're moving on to our spending sinking fund. So when we last checked in for spending, we had $203 in there. So that's going to be our starting balance. We have had some movement here in this spending envelope. I know that for sure. So we had a couple of withdrawals from this fund. So we just flip over to our transaction log. Hopefully the flipping back and forth is not making you all dizzy. So on September, what month are we in? July. There we go. On July 20th, I purchased a video game for $64. So this is our spending account. And I apologize also if these crooked columns are making you crazy. I don't like to draw lines in because then the lines are crooked, and that bothers me, but this being all wonky doesn't. I know that's weird. It is what it is. So on the 20th, I spent $64 for this video game. And then on the 20th as well, I spent $99 on some household items that I wanted. I didn't have enough money in my household home sinking fund, so I just took it out of our spending fund for that. So that takes care of the transaction tracking there. Open up my calculator here. So we spent a total of $64 plus $99, $163. And how much did we add? So we deposited $10 and $30 for a total of $40. So my calculator here says we started with 203, we added 40, we took away 163, and that leaves us with $80. That is what my card says, so let's just make sure that is what I have here. 20, 40, 60, 70, 80. Good to go. Next up, we have subscriptions. Last time I checked in with subscriptions, we had $35. So $35 right here. Since then, we have made a couple of deposits, no withdrawals, so that makes it easy. So starting balance is $35. We added 10 plus 15, so we added 25. We subtracted nothing, and that brings us to a total of $60. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, 60. So that's good. Lastly, we have YouTube. This is another one that I'm going to be making some changes to for August. We're just going to be renaming this. So you'll see that when we get to that portion of this video. When we last checked in on YouTube, we had $851. So that'll be our beginning balance. And since then, we have made 2 deposits. We deposited $119 from my YouTube income on the 21st, and we deposited $10 from my Etsy income on the 27th, so that's $129 added. Nothing taken away. Let's just double check the math here, make sure this is accurate. 851 plus 129, 980. That is indeed what my card says. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 850, 900, 950, 960, 970, 980. Okay, so that is what I have here. So, I'm just going to stick this back in here for now. And I'm going to get some totals here. So, I'm going to start out by adding up everything that I added. Well, we already know that the beginning balance, we did the math here already. So the beginning balance was $3,733. I'm just going to write it right on the sticker. I know you guys can't see that, but I can here in person, so that's fine. In fact, I'm just going to write it here down below. So this total sticker was pointless just because I wasn't paying attention when I picked that sticker. And it doesn't have the pretty white boxes for making everything show up. So now I'm going to add up everything I added. So 100 plus 23 plus 60 plus 60 plus 30 plus 20 plus 20 plus 35 plus 40 plus 25 plus 129. So I added a total of $542 for the second half of the month. I'm just going to double check that and make sure that's accurate. Yep, $542. How much did I spend now? 25 plus 70 plus 110 plus 40 plus 163. So we spent 408. So 3,733 plus 542 minus 408 should be 3,867. So really quickly, I'm just going to add up the ending balances and make sure that's what I get. So 1047 plus 570 plus 800 plus 60 plus 90 plus 65 plus 55 plus 100 plus 80 plus 60 plus 980 is 3,907. So I did something wrong somewhere. Let me just double check my math really quickly. Okay, you guys, so I figured out where my error was, and it took me a really long time to figure that out. In the meantime, I got a phone call, so I had to stop filming, but the problem was that I wrote this number in wrong. It was 3,773. I had written 3,733, shorting myself $40, and that's why my math did not add up. You guys, if you could have seen me trying to figure this out, I added up every single line again. I added up all the columns. I did math multiple times. I could not figure out what the problem was. And it was just that I was silly and I wrote down the wrong number. So, 3,773 is what we started with at the beginning of the month, or at the mid-month check-in. We added 542, we took away 408, and that left us with a total in our sinking funds right now with $3,867. So really quickly, I just want to figure out exactly how much we added and took away for the month. So if we added $10.80 at the start of the month, so if we added $1,080 in the first half of the month, and we added $542 in the second half of the month, that means we added a grand total of $1,622 to our sinking funds in July, and we spent $745 in the first half of the month, $408 in the second half of the month, and that's $1,153 total. So if we started the month with $3,438, we added $1,622, we took away $1,153, that leaves us with a total of that $3,907, which I still need to correct here. So that was all accurate. It took some funky math to get there, but in the end, everything balances. It just helps if you write in the right numbers. So that is it for my July sinking funds. Everything added up, everything's good to go. So now we just need to take these totals into August. But as I mentioned, we are making some changes. So I have my August printables here. I've already put them into my planner. I've already set up my August calendar for you. If you guys like these printables and you would like to download them, print them for yourself to use in your own budgeting journey, I have my Etsy shop linked down below. You can purchase the whole bundle so you can get all of my August printables, or if you just, for example, want the sinking funds spread, the sinking funds, and the transaction log, you can purchase those individually as well, however you want to do it. I chose this really pretty yellow for August, which I love. So we're going to flip to our sinking funds here, and the first thing I'm going to do is write in each of the funds, and as I mentioned, we're going to make some changes. So I'm going to pull my sinking fund folder back in here. We're going to start out with the first one, which is camping. No changes there, so we're just going to write that in, camping. And at the start of the month, and I'm actually going to date this, so I'm doing this on July 29th, so 7/29 is when I did this update. I want to make sure that I include that so that when I'm going in and doing my mid-month check-in, I know exactly when I started and exactly where I'm at. It just makes it easier. So for camping, I guess I can zoom you guys in a little bit. We said, well, I'm just going to look at the card again rather than flipping back and forth. So for camping, we have $1,047 as our beginning balance. So that takes care of that. Next fund that we have is our car fund. And again, we just counted all these, so we don't need to count them again. So we're just writing in the information. Starting balance for this one is $570. Next up, we have celebrations, and this is where we're going to make some changes. So celebrations right now encompasses our birthdays, our anniversaries, any gift buying, and Christmas. And when I first did this, you guys were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Separate Christmas back out, Jessie. That's way too big of a transaction to keep lumped together with everything else. You were worried that I was going to spend more on like birthday gifts and celebrations and not have enough when Christmas rolled around. And that's actually a really good point. So I'm taking your guys' advice and I'm splitting this back up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our celebrations fund and I'm going to turn it into a fund for Christmas, and then all the other celebrations will be lumped in with this celebrations fund. So I'm going to take the majority of this $800 and stick it into a separate fund for Christmas. I had initially had a separate fund, and then I combined everything when I made a bunch of changes to my sinking funds. And for the most part, that's working out really well, but you guys definitely had a point with Christmas. So we're separating Christmas back out now. So I'm actually going to take $750 and move it to a Christmas fund. And we're just going to leave $50 in here for celebrations because we don't have any birthdays or anything coming up right now. So that's totally fine to do that. So I'm going to take 50 of these dollars and leave it here in celebrations. And I'm going to pull in an index card out of my little desk drawer here and separate Christmas back out. Where did my pen go? There it is. So Christmas, hopefully this is making sense to you guys. On 7/29, we deposited $750. So our Christmas fund now has a total of $750. And our celebrations fund has $50. So I'm just going to stick celebrations in here first. And then Christmas. And I just need to write that in then. So celebrations has 50. The totals are still the same. I just separated them out. And Christmas has $750. Okay, then next up we have our clothing sinking fund, which is starting out with $60. After that comes our home sinking fund, which has $90 in it to start. Medical has a starting balance of $65. Okay, after medical comes pets, and pets has $55. School has $100. And after school, in alphabetical order, comes spending, and spending has $80. After spending comes subscriptions, which starting out with $60. And our last category is YouTube, but we are going to change the name of this fund. So I'm going to need another index card. And we are just going to change this. Actually, I don't even need to use a different index card because I've got erasable pens here. So we're just going to erase this YouTube. And the only change we're making is we're just changing the name of this because it's no longer just a percentage of my YouTube income that's going in here. I'm also withholding money from my Etsy income as well. So we're just going to rename this to taxes. Same amount of things, or same amount of money, still the same concept, just it's multiple streams of income now. So I want to make sure that the title is accurate. So for taxes, our starting balance is $980. So that is going to take care of that. I don't need to add any other new funds, I don't think, as of right now. Throughout the month, I will keep tabs of everything, and I'll write in my transactions at the mid-month mark when we do our mid-month check-in. That'll go here under this transaction log. You guys will see that video in the future, but for now, we have a beginning balance of, what did I say? Let's go back to that. $3,907. And I'm actually just going to write that in right here for our total. I do have a totals line down here that's already like pre-printed, but I want to do my mid-month check-in just like I did in July. There's plenty of space on this page, so I'll just draw in a line and then we'll do the second half of the month on this same page, and the grand totals will be down here then. So that is it for my sinking fund July wrap up and my August setup. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. Check out my Etsy shop if you are interested in downloading and printing out these printables for your own planner. I have that linked down below as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, friends!